Go ahead. Keep doing what you were just doing.
Ow! No, thank you, Zoe.
Our guest this week is Zoe the dog. Zoe.
Hi, Zoe. Sit down and say hi to everybody.
Zoe has some important thoughts on on the Clinton administration immigration policies of the mid-90s. Zoe, do you believe NAFTA led to the current crisis we're seeing with offshoring? Guys, it's the KYG Y2K podcast. Why? Because you remember it, because you love it. That's Y2K. I am your host, Jesse Dram, your longtime host. You guys have been with me since the Infinite Jest days, back when this podcast was all about reading postmodern literature. I'm spinning my wheels because my co-host, Joe Garifo, wandered off camera, and I can't see him. I guess my co-host this week is Zoe the dog. Zoe
knocked over a glass of water all over the floor, and now I'm cleaning it up. That's what just happened.
Sounds like subterfuge to get on the show. Zoe, what do you think of the movie Bushwhacked?
Okay. I think we're good. Let me make sure this didn't break.
It's okay. I'll keep them. So, guys, this week we're going to be doing an interesting one. Instead of a franchise or an individual movie series or even an individual film or television show, we are discussing the career of the dad of the late 80s, early 90s, Mr. Daniel Stern. Now, you might know him as the narrator from Wonder Years. You might know him as whatever the character's name is in Bushwhacked, where he pretends to be a school guard, Boy Scout leader. You might remember him as the grown-up voice of Kevin Arnold on the Wonder Years. But oh wait, I already said that. As one of the Wet Bandits, Marv. Yeah. So we are going to talk about this gentleman today and how much we love and appreciate him. What do you think of that, Joey?
I love Daniel Stern. I got my Bushwhacked VHS copy right here.
Nice. I'm surprised he doesn't do conventions. Does he do conventions?
I don't know. I've never seen him at one, but maybe. I haven't really been to any in a while, so I really don't know. But yeah, I love Daniel Stern. Chud. Did you mention Chud?
Oh, Chud's in there. All right, here's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go through a little bit of the man's biography, then we're going to go through his filmography, okay? And by the way, as a news source, now that I know that I can use this as a source, I'm going to be using it all the fucking time. TVtropes.com is a great go-to for information on these movies and actors. So, Daniel Stern, born 1957 in Bethesda, Maryland. He's an East Coaster, just like you and I. What up? Fuck the West Coast, man. We ain't got no love for West Coast podcasts. You hear? Sorry, I'm trying to turn this into the Source Awards 1995. Yeah, so just young actor, Jewish guy, played Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof in high school. Joe, have you ever seen Fiddler on the Roof?
Yes, once.
I only saw it for the first time recently. I love that fucking movie.
It was good. But I've only seen it once, probably over 10 years ago. I need to revisit it.
You know, since marrying a Jewish woman, I have to admit I have been like upping my Jewish game a little bit. I have heard more than one comedian discuss on podcasts saying when I was little, I just wanted to be Jewish because I thought you had to be Jewish to be in show business.
Didn't Billy Joel think he was Italian? He grew up with a bunch of Italian people, and he would go to church with them because they would always go to church, but he's Jewish.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely see that. Now, Joey, if it's not too personal, I know your mother has a famous story about that. Could you please tell us that story, if it's okay?
Which, about
her Jewish friend and her mother making her go to church or something?
I am not. What you just tell the story. I'll tell you if I don't. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. Me and Joey's mother were hanging out yesterday for our Tuesday tea, as we do. She talked about how one of her best friends growing up was Jewish and how she'd spend the night at her house thinking like, "Ooh, I'll get out of church." And then her Jewish mother would like take her to church or like take him to synagogue or something like that. I don't know. It was an Italian Jewish thing.
I never heard that.
All right,
I've never. Maybe she told you that story, but I've never heard that story. It's possible.
I will tell you a better story your mom told me that I remember very clearly. She said the whole school was like going to go to Europe for a trip, so they had to fill out a bunch of paperwork. And again, these are like little South Philly kids, so they're all filling out the. When it came to nationality on the forms, they had all listed themselves as Italian or Irish, despite being like, you know, born and raised on the same block for fucking generations in South Philadelphia. Like, you told me I was Italian. Like, you're American, dummy.
Yeah, no, that one's true. And she got bit by a cat in Italy on her school trip, and then like missed two because she had to get a rabies shot. It was like a whole thing.
How bad a bite was this?
It was pretty bad. This was also my mother's 73, so or 72,
40s.
Yeah, it was a while ago. So.
You know, it's funny if you actually do research into. I listened to a podcast before This American Life where I think they talked about rabies and how we take it for granted now. Like if you get bit by an animal, it's like, oh, I got to go get a rabies shot, I guess. One of the things you don't realize is that rabies is like a 100% death sentence if you get it and you don't treat it. As a matter of fact, the podcast I was listening to, the way this woman just started getting weird reactions to something, and it turned out like, oh shit, I got bit by that bat in my attic like a year ago, and they're like, oh, you're gonna die. So what they did was they put her in a hypothermic, like cold coma to try and like let the rabies work itself out, and she is like the only person to ever survive rabies that way.
Oh, wow.
Anyway,
I never heard that either.
Well, I'm full of all sorts of. I take in a lot of. These are the things I learn while you're watching like fucking Ernest Goes to Uganda. Okay. Wait, did he ever go to Africa?
Yeah. I was about to say something, but I'm like, you're not far off in the title. So I'm like, it's
all right.
That's my least favorite one, though. So I'm gonna have to get this dog out of this room because she just keeps whining him. What do you want?
I can't hear all that much. Maybe we
I
should
know
do.
You can. I can. Oh. That's what I'm like.
Maybe we should do Ernest Scared Stupid in October, and maybe those will be the first Patreon episodes. Maybe we'll do like a live stream watching all the Ernest movies. That'd be cool. Anyway, so yeah, he's Jewish. He does Fiddler on the Roof as a kid. Makes his film debut as the character Cyril in Breaking Away. I don't know. That's all you really need to know about that. He's been married to the same woman since 1980. Has 3 kids. Yeah, I'm always fascinated when actors. Obviously, he's a character actor. I wouldn't call him a movie star. But yeah, I'm always fascinated when these guys get married before they get famous, and then they just stay with them. They stay with their pre-showbiz wives. I mean, that's pretty cool, don't you think?
Yes.
If you became famous, say they rebooted The Hangover, and you get Zach Galifianakis' part, how long until you're divorced?
I would not get divorced. My wife has supported me in everything. She would have to leave me first. So that's the I love my wife.
I think I love my wife too. I'm just saying I would leave her if I got famous.
I would not.
Or I do.
I also like the idea of like dating and all that stuff is just like a nightmare. So yeah, like I wouldn't. Especially now. I just dog in my face. I'm just like,
that's fine. Zoe's on the podcast this week.
She did podcast.
All the more reason to watch the video version. Go to YouTube and follow Kill Your. I think the YouTube channel is actually still Kill Your Gods. I need to change that. Yeah, I don't know. I like the European model. I remember reading the singer Jacques Brel, who was Belgian but very famous in France, and how he was married to the same woman until the day he died, but she hadn't seen him for years. He just had a mistress where it's like, no, I love you. I want you at my deathbed, but you will receive nothing when I am gone. Hell yeah. Europeans had it right.
Terrible.
So yeah, we can get into his work, but what do you think is your first, where does he come into your purview as a child? What's the first memory you have with Daniel Stern?
It probably Home Alone. That's definitely not my like favorite. I mean, I love Home Alone. I don't even want to talk about it on this because I'm sure so many people have talked about it. I just that was the first time I remember seeing him.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it must have been the same for me because like we forget that came out in 1990, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
We were
again, this is what.
we were like 4.
So yeah, that's what you think. I feel like most of my original childhood memories started when I was 5, but I remember clear as a bell when that came out, and you and I would have been like just turned 4 years old.
Yeah.
So I guess our memory goes back a little further. God damn, Home Alone was a good movie. Did you watch the recent reboot they made on Disney Plus?
Yeah. Yes, I did. Um, it was a movie.
I hate when they made child actors like adults suddenly. It really creeped me out. And I feel like he's like that. He's like, mommy, but why the fuck is he British? Like, oh, mommy, daddy doesn't know. Bah, 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 bah. Like the kid is smarter than the adult.
Yeah, the movie was. I guess if they took out every Home Alone reference, it would have been fine. It would have been its own thing. I guess it was a little bit different in the sense that they're not necessarily burglars trying to like they're trying to take back something that is theirs. So it's
Ooh,
not like
I don't remember exactly what this was. How were they not burglars? What were they?
the kids stole. They had like an open house or something, and the kids stole a doll from them, and that doll happened to be worth like $200,000 or something like that. And they desperately needed that money, and they were trying to get it back from the kid, but the kid won't give it back to them, so they're trying to break in to steal this doll that is theirs anyway.
The kid sounds like the villain in this.
It kind of that's what I meant by it's a little bit different. Like
Hmm.
the people breaking into the house, I actually felt sorry for the whole movie, whereas you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
um, that's all I remember about it. We're getting off on a tangent though. That because
All right,
Daniel
that's fine.
Stern is not in that movie.
All right. All right. Well, but before Daniel Stern shows up in Home Alone, he has a few bit parts here and there. He is in the movie Chud, which
Mhm.
of course Chud stands for what, Joey?
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
So my the drummer in my high school metal band got into some solo recordings in his later years. And he has a song called Chud, which that line is just the chorus, and now I cannot ever hear of Chud without thinking cannibalistic humanoid underground. Shout out Brett, my friend who was 4 years younger than me and yet obsessed with hair metal all through high school.
I believe Chud was the first movie that Joe Bob showed.
Ooh,
I'm checking now. On no, first movie he showed on the last drive-in, not on the
not on Shutter or on TBS.
on Shutter. I'm looking. Hold on.
Okay.
And I don't mean the marathon. The marathon was Tourist Trap. That was the first movie. But then he did the Thanksgiving special.
For those of you unaware
Yeah,
of Joe Bob Briggs, get the Shutter app if for nothing else but Joe Bob Briggs. He is
yeah. He did in the first season. It was the first episode. On the last drive-in. But granted, there were like 4 specials before that. So you had the Christmas special, Thanksgiving special. I'm sorry, there were 3, and then the 24-hour marathon. So there's not technically the first movie, but the first movie of the first season was Chud.
Yeah.
Anyway,
If you guys haven't heard, Joe Bob Briggs is an evangelist of drive-in movie theaters and B horror movies. You might remember him on shit. Was he Monsters, Drive-ins, and Dives? What was the name? What was the name of his TBS show?
Monster Vision.
Monster Vision. Okay. Oh god, I think I combined a Guy Fieri show.
You did. You combined diners, drive-ins, and dives. There's also
Monsters. Joey, can we make Monsters, Drive-ins, and Dives?
Possibly.
You got 1 foot in reality TV. This should work.
Kind of. There's also he had another show called Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater in the early 90s.
Point is, this guy has been around like the horror B movie thing for a while, and he's pretty great.
He's in Casino.
Who's in Casino?
He's in Casino. You just go to YouTube and bring up the clip. I'm sure, but he's in Casino and he's in The Stand, the TV miniseries from the 90s.
Okay.
Bit parts in these things, but he was in them.
All right. This is driving me crazy that I've never seen this.
You didn't know Joe Bob was in Casino?
I haven't seen Casino in a long time.
Yeah. Joe Bob's in Casino. And you get Joe Bob is still around on the Shudder app. So check out.
Of course, it's not showing the actual fucking clip. Oh, Joe Bob Briggs on his role in Casino.
We didn't know. So
why are all these things promising to show me the clip and then not showing me the fucking clip?
Why don't you just go to YouTube?
I'm on YouTube.
No, you're
all
not.
of these clips have been on YouTube. Oh God. Okay, whatever. We're not doing this. We'll save that.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's in Casino. It's fine. What were we talking about? Daniel Stern.
Chud. We were talking about Chud.
Chud.
Yeah,
I don't like Chud that much, to be honest. There's a severe lack of Chuds in that movie. It's a little boring, to be honest.
I always found it very odd that in the episode with The Simpsons where they go to New York City, where Homer is reflecting back on his traumatic time in New York City as a young man, and he said, and then the Chuds came for me. And I did not realize Chud was that well-known an entity that it could just be fucking dropped as a reference on The Simpsons.
And that's when the Chuds came at me. I don't know how many times I have said that in my life because of that.
Homer, of course your memory of New York is going to be terrible if it's only the pimps and the Chuds.
So, yes, hello.
That's also the episode that predicted 9/11. A few years later, he makes an appearance in the Mickey Rourke classic, Diner.
Diner is a good movie. He not an appearance. He's a pretty main character in that movie.
I haven't seen it. I didn't look it up.
Diner's a good movie.
I am only here for his roles playing a father or a wet bandit.
Okay, but Diner I liked. What else? Continue. I'm sure you're looking at a list.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, sit down.
Well, the next big one after that is The Wonder Years, which is fascinating because, again, this show ran like 8-9 seasons. Big hit for ABC, starring Kevin Arnold, Fred Savage. Daniel Stern's first collaboration with Fred Savage, it will not be the last, where, he plays the narrator looking back on his wonder years in the 60s, growing up at the time of Vietnam. Would go on to direct 10 episodes. I remember when my cousin told me, like, that's Marv from Home Alone. I did not believe it at first. It didn't sound like Daniel Stern puts on a voice in a lot of his movies.
Yeah, I didn't watch The Wonder Years that much.
It made me cry when I watched it. Always, because I felt
I've seen episodes, but I don't remember specifics. I just remember everyone saying Marilyn Manson was
Paul.
His friend. Yeah, which is not true. I remember that was like a thing, and I remember his voiceover. Did he ever appear physically in any way?
Don't think he ever physically appeared. Why don't you Google that real quick while I give some facts? So fun fact, in the pilot, he was not the narrator. The narrator was someone named Arya Gross. Daniel Stern narrated the rest of the series. The pilot with Gross's narration aired only once following Super Bowl 22. It was one of those debut shows that debuted after the Super Bowl. All airings after the original broadcast would replace Gross's voice with Stern's. Now, here's an interesting thing. There was a rumor for a long time. It was believed that the original broadcast of the pilot, where what the fuck is the kid's name? Kevin, where Kevin kisses Winnie after her brother dies in Vietnam. I always found it was weird. Like, I'm so sad my brother died. At least I'll get a peck in the meantime. But yeah, the original line narrating it, everybody believed it was the only time Winnie and I ever kissed, and that the Daniel Stern redub had retconned it to it was the first kiss for both of us. However, in 2012, when the original broadcast was finally uploaded to YouTube, turns out same exact line. So urban legend, all those years put to rest. Did you find out if he ever appeared?
I couldn't find anything. It just says he narrated everything, or he narrated it, and then your thing about him not being the narrator in the first episode. Yeah, special shout out to the Wonder Years, the band, because
That's right. Philadelphia band, rest in peace, Melrose Diner.
that's right. Well, no, Melrose. I heard it was closing, then I heard that was not true.
I've heard that, and then I also heard them once again say, yes, it is closing.
No. Yeah, Wonder Years, Daniel Stern.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Damn, I was trying to find. He did an appearance on Family Guy as the voice of Meg, I believe, or Chris, but unfortunately the clip is just not coming up right now. So
why are you breaking up?
I'm breaking up. Am I freezing?
A little bit. Well, now you're fine, but you were like, I didn't hear the last thing of what you said before.
Oh, I said it's annoying I can't find it right now because I know that Daniel Stern did the appearance on Family Guy where he was the voiceover, but I can't find it now. So fuck that. We're not doing it.
It's fine.
Okay. So the next one, again, his next collaboration with Kevin Arnold, Little Monsters, where he plays the dad. Man.
I love this movie. This movie reminds me of Matt Donahue because I don't know why I got it for him on DVD as a gift. Matt Donahue is a mutual friend of ours that passed away 6 years ago now.
Yeah, because I remember I was at the place I was looking at the time. The place I was working at the time, yeah, it was in like 2015. So, fuck yeah, it might have been 7 years ago.
Yeah. Anyway, Little Monsters. I always love that movie. Daniel Stern plays the father in it.
Howie Mandel playing the monster Maurice. Unrecognizable in the makeup. Like, really kind of freaked me out.
Got him, need him, got him.
Oh, you mean your mother's the only girl you know that wears an over-the-shoulder boulder holder?
My only thing about that movie, and I actually texted you this the other day. The ending to me was always so weird because, like, why are they saying goodbye? Like, it's the last time they're ever going to see each other.
Oh yeah, there's a race against time at the end of the movie where they need to get back to Earth before sunrise, and there's this long, tearful, almost like the door is closing, buddy. Long, tearful goodbye of like, I'll never forget you, pal. Even though there's no reason they can never see each other again. The door is not closing forever.
Maurice literally says to him, where there's a bed, there's a way. He says, remember, where there's a bed, there's a way. And then they're like, there is no reason why, like, the next day, or I guess they're in California now, so they're on the other side of the coast because they had to run away. They're underground. They're in the monster world. And they have to outrun the sun.
I do think that is the coolest ending where, like, they're on the East Coast for the entire movie. They have to run through the underworld to, catch up to the sun, basically. And they end up, like, on the beach in Malibu, and they have to, like, call their dad and be like, Dad, could you come pick us up? Like, where are you? Like, California.
But I mean, like, as soon as they get home, there's no reason why Maurice couldn't stop in and say hi. Mm-hmm. Like, there is no. That's my only thing about that ending is like, why is there this long goodbye? Like, there's no dialogue in the movie that says like you can never come back down here. or
remember, once you leave, you can't go back.
Yeah, I mean, it said if they stayed down there, they would be monsters forever, so they had to come back out. But there's no reason why Maurice couldn't come out and see him. Like, it's just a.
I will say, out of all the kids' movies at the time, I think that might be because there is the scene where they have to announce to Fred Savage and also Ben Savage, who plays the little brother in the movie, the future star of Boy Meets World. I think this is the first time where the parents have to sit down the kids and tell them they're getting divorced, and it's heavily implied that it is in fact all Kevin's fault, because he has just been not Kevin, Fred, just because he's been a real dickhead this entire move, and then everything starts going crazy and wonky with Maurice's shenanigans, and it is very clearly the stress from raising this troubled child that, like, our marriage will not work, we're leaving, yes, it is your fault.
Isn't Fred Savage? What happened with Fred Savage? Isn't he like a? Didn't he get Me Too'd or something?
Oh yeah. So apparently, old Fred Savage is a bit of a savage drinker. Can't hold his booze. He has still been directing. He's been directing TV for a long time. He's directed and written a lot of episodes of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and he was still directing on the new reboot of the Wonder Years series. And apparently he had gotten drunk and belligerent a few times on set, and somebody dropped a dime on him, and he later, Kevin.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wonder where you are. The unemployment line. Zing. Line. I fucked it up. Home Alone. Yeah, like I said, rare non-father role.
Wait. What about My Blue Heaven? Was that before Home Alone or after?
I don't even have it on my list because I've never seen it. So tell me everything about My Blue Heaven. I don't remember.
My Blue Heaven stars Steve Martin and Rick Moranis. It's kind of a sequel to Goodfellas, honestly. He's in Witness for Protection. It's a comedy though. Like it's Rick Moranis is the FBI agent that is assigned to look after Steve Martin, who is the mob, who's in Witness Protection. And it's just like he just pulls all these crimes in this like middle of nowhere town. It's a really funny movie. But Joan Cusack is in it. Daniel Stern plays her ex-husband, and like Rick Moranis punches him and throws him out of the house at one point in the movie, which is kind of funny. Oh, and the kid, I think the kid from Bushwhacked is in it.
Which one?
One of the kids with the backwards hat that said
okay.
The cool one.
Every 90s movie, when you got to pick out the cool kid, he's wearing a backwards
hat.
Yeah,
the one with the backwards hat, him.
Shout out TJ Detweiler in Recess.
I think he's the kid in it. Hold on one second. I got to bring up My Blue Heaven again because it's been a while since I've watched it. But
yeah, I've never seen it. For whatever reason, the only childhood memory I have of Steve Martin where I enjoyed him in a movie was Little Shop of Horrors as the sadist dentist.
I love Little Shop of Horrors. Steve, My Blue Heaven would definitely be my next, probably my favorite Steve Martin movie.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
All cast and crew. Daniel, Jesse. I'm sorry, Jesse Bradford is one of the kids who is. He was from Bring It On. And
that kid. Yeah.
And then
I think he was also in the terrible Tucker Max movie. I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell.
Was he?
I think he was. I thought he played Sling Blade.
Huh. Then he's in. Oh yeah, he is in Bushwhacked. The other kid. There's two kids. Joan Cusack has two kids. The other kid played Ralph in Bushwhacked. I was right.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. I hope you're proud.
I am. It's been a while. I remembered that. I pulled it out of the recesses of my mind. My Blue Heaven, awesome. It's not really a Daniel Stern movie. He's just in it, but it's a great movie.
Fine. So the big one, the one we first met him, Home Alone, where he plays Marv of Harry and Marv, the Wet Bandits, the obviously the antagonists of the film, who are trying to rob the upper class Chicago suburbs while they're all out of town for Christmas. Marv, of course, comes up with a great idea of, we got to leave the water running. It's our calling card, the Wet Bandits, which even as a little kid struck me as kind of like, aren't you going to be like really fucked when they catch you? Because they'll be able to identify every single place that you've robbed.
Yeah. Well, they're not the smartest.
That's right. They're not. Dude, I remember as a little kid, I don't know about you, my grandmother, a lot of our grandparents were so vehemently opposed to cursing. Like the way we have the N word and the other F word now is the way like my grandmother responded to the F word. Fuck, that is not the other F word. But and I remember she always cited She cited 2 movies back to back. She cited, I saw My Cousin Vinny, and it was so funny, but he said the F word so many times. Then you see Home Alone, and you know what? You know what works just as well as the F word? When he just says frickin', frickin'. Like, in my grandmother's point of view, in fucking Goodfellas, they should be like, what am I? Am I a frickin' clown to you? You frickin'. And that would have solved all her. Isn't this nicer for everyone else? Jesse.
That was just Joe Pesci trying not to curse. That's all that was.
Right, but I do think it works for the movie. You understand he's cursing without saying expletives.
But I think there are I think I read stories about him actually cursing, and then that's what the frickin' Home Alone, great movie. Everybody knows about it. Yep. Let's move.
Oh, no. We have details about this. Daniel Stern was so committed to the role of Marv and the concept of the wet bandits that, in fact, a number of Marv's antics, like sticking snow globes to the dashboard with gum, stepping on and walking across glass ornaments, etc., a bunch of these things were ad-libbed and suggested by Stern on set. There's also the fact, okay, so I gotta pull up the share for this. So years later, when years later in 2015, Macaulay Culkin did a video reprising his role as Kevin that parodied the fans' alternative character interpretation that the traumas Kevin suffered through over the course of the films would turn him into a violent sociopath. Stern, upon seeing this video, filmed and released an in-character recording as Marv, and it's really creepy, but I love it. Have you ever seen this?
Harry?
I have.
Harry, come find me, Harry. I'm scared. The kid is back. I saw it on the internet. The kid is coming to get us. I saw him. He's coming for all the home invaders, and he's gonna go get us.
For those not watching the video,
he's coming back. I saw it. He's got blood.
He's alone in a dark room with a hoodie over his head.
It's got Randy Quaid vibes.
Yes, except for the fact that he's actually acting.
Right. I'm not insulting Daniel Stern. I mean,
we're insulting Randy Quaid.
Yeah.
He electrocuted me, for God's sakes. He turned me inside out. Now he's coming back to get us. Please, Harry, I'm home. Alone. And I was scared.
That's so fun that he did that. It really is. So Daniel Stern wasn't acting when Macaulay Culkin put a tarantula on his face. He is very afraid of spiders. The spider was real, and Stern was genuinely terrified. Fun fact, though, in the scene, he doesn't actually scream. He just silently opens his mouth, very similar to the ending of Godfather 3, because they didn't want to scare the spider, because the spider would have bit the fuck out of him.
You know, I've never seen The Godfather 3.
It's worth a view once.
I've seen 1 and 2, but so many people have said that 3 is terrible over there that I just never watched it. So
it is. It's bad, but it gives the overall story a wonderful conclusion, I think.
I'm already not the biggest mob movie guy, so I like Goodfellas.
You're Italian. You grew up in that.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I hate them.
I still. Oh, if I can,
I hate the fact that that's what Italians are. That's why I love the Super Mario Brothers so much. It was like a whole
giving them a good name,
kind of, even though it's so stereotypical. Well, they didn't start out it was. They had Brooklyn accents. It wasn't until Nintendo 64 where you're like, it's me, Mario, and you're like, where the fuck?
It's like, hey, we're here to fix some pipes and save some princesses.
Exactly. And even in the movie, I know John Leguizamo played Luigi, but they at least said he was they say he's adopted in that. Which I never realized growing up as a kid. So
you assume he's olive skinned, clearly Puerto Rican, Italian. What's the difference?
But he does say that he was Mario adopted him, and he had been his mother and his father. I was like, oh, I never picked that up as a child. I missed that.
I need to share one funny story of something that chat was just a note I sent. I
was like, what just popped up on the screen? Go ahead.
A fun Italian story. When you and I were in our indie film days, a certain somebody who may have been connected, it offered to invest some money into our project. And obviously we're not naming names, but this is somebody who was connected. And I believe despite initially accepting the money, we almost immediately returned it. Like, it turns out we don't need it. And I just remember you saying, like, they do a favor for you. And then next thing you know, you're doing a favor for them and you're burying somebody in a cornfield. I've seen Mickey Blue Eyes.
I know what's up. That's what I said. I know Mickey. I saw Mickey Blue Eyes. I know what's up. Yeah, no.
Underrated movie.
Yeah, no, we did. Like, they wrote a check and then we immediately returned the check. We were like, we didn't cash it or anything. We actually didn't need it. So thank you though.
Yeah.
And
first independent movie. It's like, turns out we have all the money we need.
Yep. That
Go figure. That's some fine accounting there.
Yeah. It's a good thing we didn't take that money, huh? Jesus.
Yeah.
Especially for that movie. Oh my God. That would have just been like the worst. Anyway.
So one last note, and then we're gonna get kicked off of Zoom and then come back onto it. Guys, write in and tell us a better video platform we could record this on. I'm doing my own research, but it couldn't hurt.
Skype? Is Skype a thing?
So the big thing is we need something that will record our audio files separately in case there's any issue, it can be fixed. Because obviously, if we're recording both of us to one track and then something's wrong with the levels, say your level's really low, there's nothing I can do.
Gotcha.
I burped. Last note on Home Alone and Home Alone 2. There was nothing interesting about Home Alone 2 out there. The tight budget of Home Alone had other early effects. There's a few stories like this that crop up about Daniel Stern that makes me think like, oh, this guy's kind of like a secret badass. Upon being informed that the shooting schedule was being extended from 6 weeks to 8, Daniel Stern asked like, well, if I'm working an extra 33% of time, am I going to get paid more? They were told no, the budget was too tight. So he quit during filming. But after 3 days of rehearsals with his replacement, Daniel Roebuck, didn't yield the same chemistry he had with Pesci. Stern was brought back, presumably, for more money.
Isn't
that cool?
Yeah.
I need to remind myself real quick. Who is... Oh, Daniel Roebuck. He is playing Grandpa in the new...
Monster.
The new Monsters made by Rob Zombie. That looks fucking terrible. It's going to be bad. All right. Let's end
Right
this.
back.
Yep.
We'll be right back.